It was an amazing ride. It was so much fun. The energy at Cermak Plaza was intense. I don't think anybody will ever forget the Bohemian Rhapsody scene. However, it didn't work out so well for everybody included. The Healy family had kind of a rough ride. Jane Healy has been a long-time rider, participant in Chicago Critical Mass, and as usual, she had her family along for the ride. This email was posted to the Chicago Critical Mass listserv. Subject accident, date July 28th, 2007, 12:47 a.m. So this is right after midnight, right after the ride. A lot of us were probably still pedaling home. This is Mike Healy. Jane asked me to let everyone know that Will is okay. He was hit by the driver on 18th Street, but suffered no major injuries. He didn't even need to spend the night in the hospital. Jane heard that others were taken to the hospital. Any news of them? The police caught the driver, so we may be calling on people for witnesses. I want to thank everyone for all their help and concern. Mike. I didn't read this till the next morning. It was a total surprise to me. As Howard pointed out in his follow-up email, glad to hear Will is okay. For those of you who were unaware of this, I think that includes 99% of the people that made it to the Spindle. A Cadillac had some sort of accident with another car and tried to flee by gunning it toward a bunch of riders on 18th Street near Blue Island and Loomis. Will, the kid who was hit, his mother then replied, "So the ride was going great. We were having a lot of fun. Jamelex was thrilled to be showing off her stunt tricks for the crowd. Will was having fun chatting about his spindle. Katie was doing her usual calisthenics while on the mass, running beside bikes, stunts, etc. Riding through Pilsen is always a treat since the neighborhood is so vibrant and alive on Friday nights. The general vibe of the mass where we were was happy and friendly. We had fallen back to the back because we had stopped to fix the bubble maker, but we were working our way forward when all hell broke loose. I heard a squeal and some noise coming from the intersection of 18th and California. We were riding down California. I looked up and saw this crazy maroon car with a Bastion front end actually moving through the mass. I couldn't believe it. The mass was parting like the Red Sea, with cyclists lunging to both sides to get out of the way. I saw people crashing and looked to make sure Jamelex, who was nearest to me, was out of the way. She was buried under another cyclist who fell on her and was bruised pretty badly on her hip. The car lunged, braked, accelerated, braked, and then really revved as he saw the mass clearing. I turned to follow the car with my eyes, praying the whole time that everyone was out of the way, especially the rest of my family. Unfortunately, my 10-year-old son was between him and freedom. He hit Will going relatively fast, I estimate about 10 miles an hour. Will crashed up onto the hood with his bike thrown up way into the air behind him. The car jerked to the side a bit, which threw Will cartwheel style over the side. It was violent enough that his shoes went flying off his feet. With that, I was no longer tracking the car but was fixating on the fate of my son, who I could no longer see due to the cars and cyclists everywhere. I dropped my bike, abandoning my daughter in the trailer, I might add, and ran around the parked car to get to him. A young man from the billiard hall darted out into the street to drag Will over to the gutter. Both Mike and I aged 10 years in about 10 seconds. Will was seriously freaked out, but was coherent and functional. His helmet was still on and showed no obvious damage. The young man carried Will up to a lawn chair that some of the neighborhood guys put out for him. As Mike got there, I ran back to the trailer to check on Genevieve and get a blanket. I was afraid that Will might go into shock. The ambulance arrived within minutes, maybe 10. I could see that Will was okay and probably not seriously injured. The paramedics deemed him traumatized enough to take him to the hospital to get formally evaluated. We ended up leaving the hospital at around 11 p.m. The tactical officer from the 12th District called us around 11:30 p.m. to check on Will and informed us that they had the guy in custody. They were going to pursue felony charges against the driver. Allegedly, it's a DUI case. If the guy doesn't plead, the case will be going to court. And believe me, I will be there as the great Mother Righteous to be sure that justice is served to this man. I'll keep the group posted on any updates. I just want to comment here that we ride all over the city of Chicago. I am neurotic about having all the kids wear safety vests, lights, helmets, etc. when we ride. I've joked about us being lit up like Christmas trees or looking like a disco on the move at night. I've always felt that I could relax that guard when we ride in the mass because there is such a protective feel about being in a group of 1,000+ cyclists. This has brought home to Mike and I just how fragile that shell of protection really is. I'm grateful that despite Will's whining about having to wear a helmet on a mass ride, we never let our guard down. Trust me, he now sees why we always wear a helmet.